Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Amaka Chibuzo-Obi. I'm a marriage educator and a confidence coach as well. And in this video, we're going to be looking at silent treatment, what it means, why people use the silent treatment, and what the partners of people who use the silent treatment can do to help themselves as well as their partners. Now, the Nigeria internet space has been trending with silent treatment and malice for some time now. And that's basically because a Nigerian celebrity, Frank Edoho, was attributed to have said during a podcast that he is the king of malice, that the best way to punish a woman, according to him, is to give her the silent treatment, that is, to use malice. And that his wife even knows that he's the king of malice. So whenever she crosses the line, he just stops talking to her. He talks with his kids, but then he goes out, comes back late, and totally ignores her. But I'm not here for all of that. Today, I want us to look at silent treatment with a view to finding solutions to this particular matter. And honestly, I'm not just talking about this as a marriage educator. I'm also talking about it as a silent treatment survivor, if you know what I mean. I used to be the queen of silent treatment. And so I understand what it means to give silent treatment. And I also saw how it affected my husband as well. So I'm not just talking to you from a theory point of view. I'm also going to be giving you lived experiences and tips that helped me and my husband overcome that matter. First of all, I would like to say that not everyone who gives the silent treatment does it out of malice. It's not everyone who gives the silent treatment that does it as punishment for the other person. There are so many reasons people use the silent treatment, and I'm basically going to put them into two buckets, right? The first bucket is what I would call unintended reaction, and the second bucket is the toxic bucket. Okay, so for the unintended reaction bucket, people who use the silent treatment do so for several reasons, but I'm going to just call out three of these reasons. The first is as a result of emotional immaturity. A lot of people were not shown how to properly manage their emotions. This was my problem actually back then. I was not emotionally mature. And so handling conflict, knowing what to say in conflict, or just being able to even manage my own emotions were things that I did not really do well. And because of it, I resorted to silent treatment. So emotional immaturity can be a reason. And people who are emotionally immature are this way usually because of things that happened to them in the past. So for me personally, I went through a very traumatic experience as a child. I lost my mom when I was just 8 years old. So growing up as a child without a mom, having to deal with my issues myself, falling and rising, making mistakes, learning from them, getting hurt and burnt and all of those things did not quite show me exactly how to manage certain emotions. And so I became an adult who still struggled with emotional management. And this played out when I eventually got married and had to deal with certain situations that I didn't learn how to deal with. That made me shut down. So emotional immaturity is one reason some people could resort to silent treatment. Another reason is fear of conflict. There are people that by virtue of their personalities, they do not like conflict at all. They run away from every kind of confrontation, anything that smells of conflict, anything that could look like a disagreement, they run away from it. So people like that could use silent treatment because they just do not want. They don't want the disagreement, they don't want the quarrel, they don't want the issues, they just want to be left alone. So fear of conflict, which is usually a personality trait, majorly for people who are called the phlegmatics, could be a reason that silent treatment is used. Now, another reason silent treatment can be used for those who have the unintended reactions is poor communication skills. Not all of us know how to properly communicate our feelings. Not all of us know how to properly communicate, especially when high emotions are involved, right? And so poor communication skills can also lead to silent treatment. And that's where you see people who say, well, rather than me say something wrong, I will just keep quiet. Rather than me hurting you or beating you or slamming things, let me just keep quiet. So this is a result of poor communication skills, because if a person really knows how to properly communicate, if a person has effective communication learned as a skill, even when they are very, very angry, they can still find ways to let their opinions be heard without causing any sort of catastrophe. So a person who has poor communication skills may very likely resort to silent treatment, because to them, that is better than hurting the other person or being destructive. So these are unintended reactions that cause people to use the silent treatment. Now, there is this other bucket, which is the toxic bucket. For people in this bucket, they actually know what they are doing. They know that the silent treatment is going to hurt the other person, and they choose to do it anyway. Now, there are reasons they do this. The first reason is as a form of control. People in the toxic bucket usually use silent treatment to control the other person, to force the other person to feel guilty, to force the other person to feel insecure, and ultimately force the other person to apologize even when they are not wrong. And this is what we see play out in a lot of marriages and relationships today. A person has become so used to using the silent treatment that the other person, for peace to reign, will just apologize so that they can move on. People who do this and do it consistently have found that it works for them. So they use it as power play. They use it as a tool to control the other person. Now, another reason people in the toxic bucket use silent treatment is as a form of punishment. There are people who know that if they don't talk to you, if they just recoil and become cold towards you, that it will hurt you. And so they choose to do it just to punish you. There are people who would say, it's better you shout at me, it's better you even hit me than you keep quiet towards me. And so when some partners know that this would really affect you, they choose to do it as a form of punishment. So that is another in the toxic bucket. And yet another reason people use the silent treatment in this bucket is to dodge accountability. A lot of people don't like being held accountable, especially when they have misbehaved. And so for them to dodge accountability, they just keep quiet. They recoil. They go into their shell so that you don't have to talk to them about what they did wrong. And then when they feel as if the coast is clear, they now come out and start talking to you again. So they use it to dodge accountability. They use it to run away from facing what it is that they have done wrong or the issue that is on ground. So people who are using silent treatment in a toxic manner use it either as a form of control or as punishment or to dodge accountability. Now, all in all, whether it's the unintended reaction or the toxic bucket, silent treatment screams, I need help. Because no emotionally mature and intelligent person would use the silent treatment. So anyone who uses the silent treatment has issues that they are dealing with, deep-seated issues. Because I mean, why would you want to punish your partner? Why would you want to control your partner? Why would you want to dodge accountability if there are no deep-seated issues that you're battling? So I want us all to begin to see this issue for what it truly is. People who use silent treatment are actually very underdeveloped in communication and in emotional maturity. And so it's very important that their partners find ways to help themselves and also help this person that is dealing with all of these things using silent treatment. Now, let's go to what you can do if you are dealing with a partner who uses silent treatment all the time. First things first, stop chasing. Now, this is something that is difficult, but very needed for you to do. Stop chasing them. Stop being all over them, trying to get them to talk, begging them to talk, just trying to do everything to get them out. Because when I used to use silent treatment as a tool myself, whenever my husband came to me to say, oh, let's talk. Why are you not talking to me? You've not spoken in a while. What's the matter? It made me feel powerful. It made me feel like, yeah, I'm getting to him. I'm getting to him, And instead of making me talk, I doubled down on the silent treatment. So no, don't chase them. Don't chase. What did my husband do instead? My husband started telling me exactly what I was doing and how it was affecting not just him, but the kids and our relationship as a whole. Which brings me to the second thing you need to do. So first of all, stop chasing. If you've been chasing, please repent of it. Stop chasing. Now, secondly, calmly state your feelings. Now, back then, my husband would come to me and say, whenever you are in this mood, it just makes me feel like you don't respect our union. And it makes me feel bad. Now, when he says something like this, it pricks my conscience. It touches me somewhere because I love him and I don't want him to feel bad. I don't want to do something to hurt our union. So even though I may not immediately start talking, it gives me something to think about. So calmly state your feelings. Tell your partner how what they are doing is making you feel and what it says about your union. You could tell them, I feel invisible. I feel hurt. I feel like you are not meeting me halfway for us to work on making this union a success. Please, this is not the time for you to start attacking them, because when you attack them, they double down and sink deeper, and it's not helpful for anyone. So don't attack. That's not the time for you to say, you're being childish, you're immature, you don't have sense. This is what you do all the time. You always, don't do that. Calmly state what you feel and leave it at that. Okay? If you're married to someone with some sense, you will touch them at their core and they will retrace their steps and come out of that place. The third thing you need to do is to set clear boundaries. We teach people how to treat us. We teach people what is acceptable by us. If you just take it every single time, they will learn that it's okay for them to do this. So you need to set clear boundaries, even as they're doing that silent treatment. If there are things that you need them to do, communicate those things to them. Look at them as kids who need help. So reach out to them even when they are in that state. What happens a lot of times is that partners of people who give the silent treatment find themselves also sucked into that darkness. They find themselves also going cold and quiet. Please try not to do that because it will become counterproductive. Instead, set your boundaries. Tell them the things that you need them to do. Honey, please, I'll be going to the market. I'll need you to look after the kids while I'm gone. Honey, please, when you're coming back, buy so, and so. Please, we need to do this and that. Just go about your day as if it is normal, as if they are talking to you. Just talk with them. That shows them that that thing they are doing does not make any sense to you, and you're not about to swim in that river with them. So just continue living your life as you would normally live it. Call them the names you normally call them. It's hard, but it's very doable. When you do it, if you're married to someone with any sense, they will talk to themselves and say, this thing I'm trying to do to this person, it seems like it's not affecting them. And so they will find a way and come out of it. And if they refuse to come out of it, that's on them. You're living your life as normal and not allowing their own darkness draw you into darkness as well. And finally, please, if you have lived with someone that uses silent treatment and it is becoming a big issue in your marriage, seek professional help. Like I mentioned earlier, people who give silent treatment are battling lots and lots of trauma. They need help. And for you who have gone on that journey with them for some time, you probably have also broken inside. So both of you may need to talk to someone who can help you uncover all of those trauma that could make that person be resorting to silent treatment, and also help both of you with an effective communication strategy that two of you can use to deal with conflict in your home. My husband and I had to create a communication strategy for ourselves. I realized that when I'm very, very angry, I don't need to speak, because if I do, I could hurt him and spoil the issue beyond repair. So I told him, even when there was no issue, I spoke with him and we had a conversation to say, please, whenever we're going through conflict, allow me cool off. But I promise you one thing, when I cool off, I would come back and we'll talk about it. The best time to form a communication strategy is when there is no conflict. So I would also suggest this for someone out there who is battling silent treatment in their home. Have a conversation with your partner. Tell them that you understand. You understand that they may not want to talk at that time that tempers are flying, at that time that the matter is very, very hot. But please, when they have cooled off, maybe after an hour or 2 or 5 even, they should ensure that they come back and talk about that issue. Because the onus is on the person who does not want to talk to finally decide when the talk happens. Because we need to understand that every issue needs to be resolved. We should not sweep issues under the carpet and expect them to just fizzle away. You may think that it's done, but the other person who did not get to talk about that matter would still have it in their heart. And after a while, they will become resentful towards you. And resentment builds coldness in the marriage and could even bring emotional detachment. We don't want this to happen. So every issue should be sorted and should be seen as sorted by both parties. So if you're the one that usually does the silent treatment, you should come to your partner when there's no issue to tell them, you know that I usually resort to silent treatment, but I've figured out that it's not working, doesn't help us. Please, when there is an issue, give me time. When I've cooled off, I would come back and we'll talk about it. Another strategy I use with my husband is to use chats. So when I'm really hot-headed and I know that if I speak at that time, I could cause more trouble, what I do is to send a message. What sending messages help me achieve is it helps me see what I am saying before I actually say it. So as I'm reading what I typed, I'm reading it and I'm checking it for tone, I'm checking it for body language, and I'm checking the words that I'm actually saying. In this way, before I click send, I know that what I am talking about is issue-based and I am not just lashing out. So even though I may not talk to him verbally, but I am still communicating at that time. And so there is no silent treatment, so to say. So because I have come to see how silent treatment does not help and how it could wreck a marital relationship, I have now developed ways to handle it. So I hope that you learn from my own strategy as well. The first thing for the person who actually does the silent treatment is communicate to your partner how best you want issues handled. Let them know ahead of time. And then secondly, find a way to communicate with them, even at that time that you're not talking to them. So for me, it's chat. For you, it could be a note or something else. Just find a way to ensure that there is a pipeline of communication at that time so that both of you are not just cold. And for the other person who has to deal with a silent treatment partner, please, first things, stop chasing them. Secondly, calmly state your feelings. Thirdly, set clear boundaries. And if none of this works or has been working for you, seek professional help. So I hope this video helps someone out there today. Share this video with your friends and family because you just never know who needs the information in this video. My name is Amaka Chibuzo-Obi. I'm a marriage educator and confidence coach. And until I come your way in the next video, stay safe and God bless you. Bye for now.